We're live, and hopefully this works. Because yesterday, it all went wrong. And I turned into a choppy robot, didn't I, Wojtek?
Yes, you did.
Yes. I think you put at one point max headroom. Right, so we're going to be talking about Only Fools and Horses. No. Look at the title. We're going to be talking about that Homeward Bound, episode 2 of season 6 of Game of Thrones. So, Wojtek, what did you think of the episode?
I liked it very much. We get something at the end that fans were expecting. I guess for people who didn't read up on background and who didn't read the books, and I didn't read the books, but I read a lot of background material. This game quite surprising, but people were expecting that, and it happened earlier than most people thought, like in this episode, the second of the season. But I'm glad with this, because otherwise it would be dragging on, and we want to see what happens next. So that was
right. I'm just going. We'll address that at the end, folks. But I will say, is there a price to pay?
yes.
Right.
But we will talk about it at the end when it's happened. We'll go scene by scene. So yes.
Yeah.
Overall, the episode was more fast-paced. A lot of things happened, more than in the previous one. We see a lot of storylines moving forward in a very fast pace. And people die. A lot of people die. Most of which were to be expected, but there was a lot of suspension, and there were a lot of scenes with much suspension in it. I liked the previous episode more than this one for several reasons, but I will probably go on about it when we get the scenes. Overall, I like this episode very much, and I'm very curious about what they will do next.
Right. Okay. I will put the images on. Now, it will start with 3 joke images, but then we'll go to the proper images. Because I can't help myself. Right. What's this? It's 3 Michelin men. I want to watch Blake 7, people, which you should, because it's fantastic. Blake 7, there's Jenna. Look at her. Lovely. Watch her. Here we go. Now,
an attractive British woman. But that's the fiction in the sci-fi part.
Yeah. Marvelous. Marvelous.
So, yes, we get to see the three-eyed raven and Bren. We didn't see Bren for a while. So it's nice to get in touch with him again. The actor has grown quite a bit, so he looks completely different now. He's like several foot taller, it seems.
Can I just ask a question? So do you think this is the actual man who is behind, who is linked to the three-eyed raven?
He is the three-eyed raven.
Right, because I did not know that because of the break between seasons.
Yes, this character, he has some background I read about. He's actually a Targaryen, and he is like over 100 years old. And because he's connected to the root system of the Weirwoods, he could get this old. He's a different actor now. The actor that is playing him is different than in the previous seasons. But yeah.
It's not the Peter Vaughan character, is it? Or is that's a completely different Targaryen?
I don't know. But he also, I think they changed something in the makeup, how he's not really integrated into the root system. I think in the last time we saw him, there were like roots growing through his head, and now it seems like he's just sitting in the root system.
Right. And just for the audience, the other little visual cue for when the audience should know this, but just to recap, their eyes go white when they sort of like go into this mode of an out-of-body experience, I suppose. Or they're sort of going into an altered reality because they're sort of gone back in time. What I initially saw this. Well, first of all, the actor has got better looking than the last time he was on screen, in my opinion. And also, he's got a hairstyle that covers up his sticky outy ears.
They have a hairstylist under the Weaver tree who cut his hair. Maybe it's the children of the forest. Who knows?
Now it's really bad. I'm glad I don't have sticky outy ears, because when you're bald, you can't really hide sticky outy ears unless you use some headgear. Right, that's a digression though. Right, so now what a weird thing in this happened is he saw this woman on horseback, and he was a relative of his, but the way he reacted to this woman, it was like, whoa, she looks nice. Because he seemed to like be taken with this woman on the horseback. You know, she comes in on the horseback.
Yeah, I noticed like he was like, oh, and
that's what I mean.
Then he figures probably out that is his aunt. I mean, it's Lyanna Stark, I think, and she is the sister of Eddard Stark, the guy who was beheaded in the first season, the Stark house, and she will play a greater role in the future. There are some theories out there about her significance in the current plot, and I think that's the reason why they show her in this flashback, because she will be of great service. I like that the children of the forest now look much better. When I saw them the first time, it was they had a terrible makeup. They looked like something from a cheap TV series fantasy production or some really cheap movie. This one I like much more.
I didn't recognize them at all.
They look more alien because they are not those pieces, the children of the forest. So I was like, yes.
What I need to do is I need to watch the last episode or two of the previous season to get up to speed with this storyline. Oh yeah, what I wanted to say about Lyanna Stark is, was she the woman that Robert Baratheon was in love with?
Yes.
But she got killed.
Yes, she was betrothed to Robert Baratheon, and the Targaryen prince was kidnapping and raping her. So the story goes. And that was responsible for the war 20 years back before the series starts, where Robert Baratheon conquered King's Landing and became king himself.
Well, I think Stannis said that it was actually Stannis Baratheon that won it, and he got a bit pissed off.
Beg pardon?
I think it may have been Stannis Baratheon who won that war, and he got pissed off he only got this little reward, and his brother took over. Because I think he said something about that last season.
I don't remember anything about it. But of course, when the robot died, he was the chosen heir, the rightful heir of the Baratheon line.
And I really like the actor who plays Stannis.
Now he's dead, or he is.
Well, he may not be dead because we've not actually heard. I don't think we've heard Brienne actually say that she's killed him.
There was something in the last episode where Roose Bolton is talking about Stannis being dead, and he would like to know who took the final blow, who killed.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that. He doesn't know that though. We always saw.
I think we are led to believe that he is dead.
Exactly.
The producers want us to believe that in implying that that Roose Bolton saw his body.
Right. Okay. I'm just gonna show the audience.
I'm not convinced.
Right. I'm gonna show the audience something. Stannis was on a tree, and the tree was here, to his left, and all we see is the sword coming down, and the angle of the sword, it's not gonna. It's gonna hit the tree because of the way it was set up.
It's not even important. It's the fact that they don't show Brienne killing him.
Yeah.
And if the show wants to show a gruesome death, they just do it.
Oh yes.
As we know.
And also, you never have Brienne saying that she killed him.
She doesn't mention it. Yeah.
Did you say doesn't or does?
Oh, we went over a scene in this flashback scene. Hodor. We see young Hodor, and he speaks.
Yes.
His name is Willis, and he speaks quite well and seems to be a normal, overly huge boy. Very.
Yeah.
I like
the boy.
Characters.
Yeah, it was. Now, what was interesting is the woman that said he's a stable boy. When I heard that, my ears heard disabled boy, and I thought that word's not appropriate for Game of Thrones. And then I thought, oh, stable boy.
Yes. I mean, it would make sense because at one point of his life he seems to get a disability, so he only can Hodor, and is a simpleton basically. But I love this.
Yeah, well, careful word choice there. Very good.
They did an interesting thing there where Bran was thinking that his aunt was referring to him, come over here, and then we noticed she means Willis, aka Bran. Okay, we get this little scene here with I forgot her name, the sister of the guy that led Bran to the north. I guess they have a greater role in the books, but in the show they were. I mean, her brother was pretty cool. It was sad they killed him off that early. He was the Green Seer, and he had similar powers to Bran, and he was teaching him how to use it, and basically led him to the one-eyed, three-eyed raven. And
right. Look at this. I would never, ever, 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 ever allow that as a director. I would be swearing, where are the effing gloves? You are in snow, and you are not wearing any gloves.
Yeah, but she's stormed out of the room, so I accept that. Like, she was just having enough of sitting under this weaver tree. I mean, she speaks about this, and she just wanted to get some fresh air. And so, I mean, Bran isn't wearing any gloves either. They're Northerners, they're used to the cold.
I mean, like in other times you see people, I mean, it's just, I've got big hands, and I get very, my hands get very cold very soon. Right. So headgear. You know what happened on the Eastern Front. Better headgear as well for people.
Yeah, but then, I mean, it's a sunny day, as far as I remember in the scene. It's pretty sunny. There's no wind. There's no kind of clouds, so
But
it can.
also, you know what else they should have? They would have known this at the time. They should be wearing little bits of wood across their eyes with little slits in to prevent snow blindness.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't care about stuff like this. I mean, no, really, because that's not the point of the scene.
Yeah.
I mean, it is set up that Bran won't stay under the E02. The Children of the Forest character, I think her name is Leaf, says that he will need you when you are when he will be outside again. So
I don't remember her whatsoever from last season.
The only thing I remember is when she shows up and throws this bombs at the skeletons, and I hated the scene because it really looked cheap. And the first introduction to the Children of the Forest, this mysterious old species that I read about, and she looked like normal kid, and in this one it's better. I mean, it's still probably not perfect, but she looks more alien. She looks more.
Yeah, that's good makeup.
Yeah.
Part of it is that, in my opinion, it's made in Northern Ireland, and they've maybe not got the base of professionals who are super duper highly skilled. So, in certain respects.
I mean, for this character, you can always say it's another species. She doesn't need much cold protection.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. I'm happy with her. I mean, I was just saying what you were saying about how they, but I can't remember what they look like. Okay, so we've done that. Oh yeah, I mentioned. So I thought the scenery looked really nice.
Yes, that's what's always impressive on Game of Thrones. The scenery, they do this very well. I don't know where this was shot. You said Northern Ireland, okay, but
oh no. Most of the studio scenes are in Northern Ireland, I would say.
Yeah, but the scenery itself was probably something more up north, but
yeah, I know they did some in. I think they did some in Scandinavia, or maybe even Iceland. I don't know if Iceland is classified as part of Scandinavia.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a great scene. We see Bran again. We see some of his newfound powers. We see Hodor again. For a while, I believe that Hodor died. Someone said that Hodor died, and I didn't remember it right. And I was like, no, Hodor. I hope they don't make him speak again. I would prefer him to stay Hodor. So the storyline of the Wall and the Night's Watch continues here. It's a quick scene. The situation is getting more tensed. People are waiting outside with bows and crossbows, and basically they want to kill everyone that will come out of this room where Jon's body is stored.
And just a note on the CGI is it's almost almost photorealistic. It's not quite there. And I would say in 5 years' time, you might actually get photorealistic in 1080p. But if they start doing stuff in 4K, then it might be that battle between resolution and CGI as to who will win in the end, in terms of the where you can detect it. But this series probably won't be on in 5 years. But the next thing that has CGI in, it should be really good. What I was about to say was, yeah, I watch this at night, folks, because scenes like this at Castle Black, they're so hard for me to see all of the detail. Like when you watch it, Wojtek, do you have the light on?
No, I put all lights off and close the windows. So mostly because oh, that happened in this scene. Okay, yeah. So good timing of the wildlings. They come in exactly at the moment that the other Night Watch men were breaking the door into the room, and then we see like we see the hammering of the door, and at the same moment someone's hammering the door of the Castle Black, and this giant comes in, and this is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't do it at exactly the same time. But
yes, but I mean, you have to consider the timing is still very perfect. I mean, they
yeah, it's still good.
Hour earlier or later, so or
yeah, that's right.
Or later. So I mean, that's a very
flashier direct. Yeah, I mean, a flashier director would have timed it. I'm not saying a better director, a flashier director would have timed it so that when it hit the door, that it was like this really loud bang, and you would go, wait a minute, that wasn't that loud, and then you'd have realised it was on the other door, but it would have looked a bit pony, it would have looked a bit fake, but it would have been, in a jokier thing, they would have done it like that, where it would have been exactly timed up, but it was better the way that they actually did it well, where it was a nice transition effect, where moments later it was a knock on the door, and it's almost like these were the big tough guys knocking through the door, but then suddenly they're put in perspective by these wildlings coming in with flipping giants, barging through the door. So
the giant was nicely portrayed like he's a weapon, and one of the watchmen accidentally shots an arrow at him, and he just takes him and slaps him over a wall, and and the other ones give up after that. They were Night Watchmen. And I mean, this is interesting because what will happen in the future? There are not many of the Knight brothers left. I think there are like maybe 50 of them left overall. Now the wildlings are coming in, the former mortal enemy of the Night's Watch, and maybe they will take up the watch. Maybe the wildlings will become the new Night's Watch to guard the wall. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's not a very big world. I mean, like you said there, there's only 50 of them. There's only a few thousand. I mean, it's not like, you know, it's not 6 billion people. But you know, they can't make it that big. They make it. They're very impressive though. Right, so we've done that bit. Now we get to some interesting stuff with, and I think they're developing the mounting interestingly. So this guy was like bragging, making stuff up about suggesting that that he was having sex with Cersei.
No.
The mountain here.
I remember this. It was something that actually happened during the the walk of shame, sorry, of Cersei, when a guy suddenly flashes his junk.
Oh yes.
And I think this is this guy, and of course he invents the stuff about her smiling at him and so on and so on.
Yeah.
But interestingly, we see the cut of the scene. We go from one giant smashing a guy against a wall to another giant smashing a guy against a wall.
Very good. I didn't notice that.
And
oh yeah, you see here is a bit of a monster, folks, in terms of what the weird maester, the one that uses the dark arts, has done to this guy. What exactly exists under this helmet when it's got these weird grey eyes? And because he brought him back from the dead, the mountain, after he got.
I didn't like this scene much because of this. He was relieving himself. He was urinating against the wall, and then he moves around, and then you hear the sprinkling against the feet of the mountain, and I don't know. They are going a bit more goofy this season with stuff like this, and there are several other cases where they are going more goofy than they used to, and I kind of like this because the tone of the series used to be very serious with some comic relief here and there, but now it's sprinkled in, no pun intended, every now and then. So, concentration.
I missed.
Yes?
I missed the grab. Oh no, there it is. No, I missed the grab. Sorry, folks. I should have taken a. When the this guy, the mountain, comes in and sees Cersei, Cersei looks. I mean, the way it was set up, the way the camera was, it looked like a subjective point of view that Cersei saw the blood on the mountain's armor on his right hand, and so she's aware that the mountain is killing.
Yeah, and
that was the impression I got.
By the way, is the mountain going through the town searching for people who are bad-mouthing Cersei?
That's the impression I get. That's the impression I get.
It's a big town. Like, how did he find this guy who was bragging at a bar, at a tavern? So I don't know. Maybe she remembered him and told her people to find him.
No.
In the Chain of Walk, and she said,
maybe.
I remember this guy. Find him, kill him. Maybe.
Now.
But this whole thing, you didn't grab like the whole tension between Cersei, the mountain, and the guardsmen that were not allowing her to see her daughter's funeral.
My camera was running low on my phone. Camera was running low on juice at the time, I think. Yeah. I'd taken 55 images.
That was an interesting thing. We see like, let's say 1,000 of guardsmen, of King's guardsmen, that are going in Cersei's way when she's going to the funeral, and it's a very tense scene because we really visually see how they are afraid of the mountain. It's just one guy, but there's a moment where he grabs his sword and then looks at her, and it's a good scene. It's because they are building up the fighting potential of this monster mountain, and now we want to see him in full action, and we probably will. near future.
One of the things they don't do is that in the actual Middle Ages, at close range, arrows could go through armor. Certainly,
only
about
longbows. Arrows from
longbows.
I mean that
your
was
proper longbows that are 6 foot long.
Yes. I mean that was one of the great shifts in military history when the traditional armored cavalry and fighting style was defeated by basically a guy with a bow.
And also, at Agincourt, the English longbows, you could have 6 arrows in the air before the first one landed.
Yeah,
you could arc them over.
They had quite a range, yes.
And also, by arcing them like that, in that big arc, as the arrows came down, they would increase in speed. And so if you've got like 1,000 archers, you could do some serious damage. Now, the Romans, with their tortoise formation, might have fared better against such weapons, but we don't know how much speed. I mean, maybe they could do some experiments on it, like how far it goes, and then what the speed is like as it comes down. Would it have been enough to go through a Roman shield? We don't know.
I think it was the Battle of Agincourt, English against.
Yeah, the French. Yeah.
The French against the British people, where the longbow basically defeated this heavily armored knights. But let's move on.
Yep, we finished that. Yep. So we got again good acting from Lena Headey as not a very likable character, but she's such a good actress. Then we have my favourite scene in the program, which is Tim Price and Jamie. That's where they talk.
By the way, that's the eyes the Prince of Dawn was making. He painted them when he was killed by the Sand Snakes, by the Amazon women of Dawn.
Yeah.
You remember the scene from the last episode when he was painting something? It was exactly that. He was painting the burial stones for his wife, betrothed, whatever. And it's still I don't get how. I mean, was he on the boat that Jamie came in, and the Sand Snakes, this Dawn woman, were also there? I don't know. Like after, I mean, in the last season, when what's her name, Marcel, the daughter of Marcella, when she dies, it's pretty obvious that she was poisoned. So what happened to this prince? I mean, I thought like Jamie would like maybe probably either arrest him or kill him, but I don't know.
Well, they only just found out. I mean, well, they did find out. Maybe they didn't know. Anyway, what's happened to Bronn? Where's Bronn gone? Wasn't Bronn with them?
Who?
Bronn.
Okay.
The guy who was teaching Jamie how to fight with his other hand.
Yes. Yes. I miss him. He's one of the greatest characters in the series.
Yeah.
So
Robson.
You're right.
Jerome Robson. Yeah.
What happened to him?
No, Jerome. Not Jerome Robson. They became singers. Robson and Jerome. Jerome Flynn, I think it is. Right. Yes. So this scene was very good. Now, something you can ask me about. It says Jamie mentioned killing his cousin. Who did he kill?
Whose cousin?
Jamie killed his own cousin, so he said here in this
You
scene.
remember when he was in the cage and this guy was coming in and telling him this hard-feeling story about how he always wanted to be his squire and so on, and then he breaks his neck.
Right.
That was him. And yeah, I mean, good point there. We see the High Sparrow, and he is pretending to be this very religious person, but he is a political player. He arrested.
It could be. Maybe it's both.
Maybe he's both. I'm not quite sure. I used to think he's really like a believer and so on, but Jamie is making the point. So why did you arrest the king's mother and these famous persons? Because they wanted to make a point. We have the power to punish the powerful. So that's why they arrested the wife of Tommy. This what's her name? I always forget it.
Her name is. She is from the house, the Onion House. She is. She's the sister of the gay one, I think.
Yes. Yes.
Not the sister. No. Sister of Solois. I have this. I have my diagrams. I will give you her name. Her name is. She is from the Reach. She is. She was going to marry. No, she did marry. And she was able to manipulate Joffrey a little bit, and then Tommen. Yes, she is House Tyrell. Marjorie, I think it is.
House Tyrell, one of the most wealthiest houses in Westeros.
There's a little bit of an error in the program where Loras Tyrell actually pronounces the name of his family Tyrell in one scene.
Okay, didn't notice that.
Right.
Yeah, the Tyrells, they are like the second most powerful house in Westeros. They have the greatest army, and they are wealthy as the Lannisters. Maybe wealthier now that we know that the Lannisters' gold is running out, and they have taken credit with the Iron Bank of Bravos.
Yeah, is wait a minute, say that again about the Iron Bank of Bravos.
They are in debt with the Iron Bank of Bravos in a significant.
The Lannisters are, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about the Tyrells. And also, they send a lot of food to King's Landing as well. That's what Emma Peel said. Not Emma Peel. She played Emma Peel. I mean, oh God, whatever. The Yorkshire actress who played Emma Peel. Is that character still alive?
Who?
The character that Diana Rigg plays, is she still alive in Game of Thrones?
The old Tyrell woman?
Yeah.
I think yes. No. Yes. She didn't die as far as I remember. She probably killed Joffrey, but yeah.
I think the way he died with turning a fully colour, it might have been the weird guy who's with Arya in the Essos. The faceless guy. The ones that the ones that become invisible. The ones that have different faces.
The faceless man, Jagar.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was revealed, I think, in a show, if I remember correctly, that it was the Tyrell mother that wasn't she the one that gave Sansa this necklace with the poison? I have to look this up, but I think she was like behind it. But yes, in this scene we see the standoff when Jamie makes his point. why don't you arrest me? I killed my king. I killed my cousin. I did this. I did that. And then he threatens the High Sparrow, and he plays this poker game with him. It's very intense. It's also very interesting. And when he reaches for his swords and is closing in on the High Sparrow, the other sparrows appear, the militant arm of the church. So very interesting scene. We see a build-up of tension between the Lannisters and the religious order.
You have a thing, yes. What we have here is this bit's real, this bit's CGI. What we have is this is the scene with Cersei with Tommen, and the actor that plays Tommen is just about good enough, ish. And here he asks his mother to make him stronger because he feels he's not strong for letting them imprison Marjorie. And of course, this is setting things, as you said, this is setting things in motion for maybe a clash between the religious people and the Lannisters down the road.
We will probably see some mountain action in the future episodes where he just goes through this religious fanatics, and it probably will be interesting. But the scene here was strange, how Cersei behaved towards Tommen. It was weird. Like I think she's taken this prophecy more serious of the witch that prophesies that all her children would die. And I think she sees now that Tommy will die too, probably. So that's where the weirdness comes from, probably.
Was she told?
Because, I mean, like
when they had a fight, was she told as a young girl?
Sorry?
I think they had a flashback to her being told as a young girl.
Yes, by
the children would die.
By the witch, that she will marry the king, but all her children will survive her, and that the king will have like 20 children, but none of this would be hers. And yeah, I mean, it all came to pass. Is expect for Tom. I hope he won't die, because I mean, he's one of the Lannisters that is alright. So
yeah. And again, good acting from Lena Headey. So much emotion just in the eyes.
Yes, like in this scene, like she's looking at him and maybe she thinks he's already dead in her eyes.
Well, much to interpret. And then now at least they put at the end of this scene, they acknowledged the fact that where he said, next time I have an idea like that, punch me in the face. Because the audience is thinking, why are you taking such a big risk?
Yeah, why didn't you make more screen grabs of the scenes in Marine? That was quite interesting and probably important. Like we have the Council of Marine. We hear that the other cities that Daenerys was freeing are back to the old status. The Masters take control again. And Tyrion is recounting what do we have at our hands, and of course they still have 2 dragons down in the pyramid. So he's going.
Next time I'll try and take more photos.
So he's going down to the dragons, and it was long scene, like I was rather bored by it because I don't think that Tyrion would die, that the dragons would kill him.
No.
But it was suspenseful, like you weren't sure. They might just have roasted him and that would be the end of him. It would be very Game of Thrones like.
Also, there's this weird thing with the physics in it of that thing is held together with the pin. So there's a lot of force on the pin, and it just takes the pin out so easily.
Yes, but yeah, but that's how these things work. I mean, you need opposable thumbs to do this, and the dragons don't have them.
Yeah.
But we see that dragons are actually intelligent, and that was like a big reveal, because before that I thought they are like more like ferocious beasts, and now we see they recognize he is a friend of Daenerys, and when he frees one dragon, the other takes his head and puts it so that he can free him too. So he recognizes, that's how it's done.
And they ask him, I should have. So in future, do you want me to take more photos?
From various scenes, yes, because we miss out on some of the interesting stuff in the Marine Council. By the way, I personally think this whole Marine business or this whole Daenerys story should move on faster, because do we really care what happens in Marine? This whole slavery abolishing stuff, and do we really care about this? I mean, let's be honest, we want to see Daenerys with the dragons back in Westeros. So
I mean, like for the past 2 seasons, it got terribly tedious and repetitive, going to this city and that city and
cities we don't know, we don't really care about, and the whole storyline is like, come on, she was moved to Westeros where the action is. So
or they should have done what they did. They should have done this a couple of seasons ago. Is move Tyrion to.
In the last episode, they burned their ships, so it will take a while.
Oh yes, it said that thing about how do you know things. It says I drink and I know things. That's my point.
Yes, that was great. That was. But I mean, this is his function. He is this well-read character who knows, for example, about dragons and how to feed them.
What happened to Samuel Tarly? Is he still alive?
Yes, he moved to become a master. So we'll probably see more of him. Yes, Arya, her Daredevil training. I'm glad that they moved it on faster, because that was going on too long. Arya is like, it's strange. She is the only isolated character that we know. Like Daenerys has at least some recurrent characters she interacts with. Sansa, of course, and all the others in Westeros. But Arya is completely isolated. The only recurring character that she interacts with is this guy, who probably is not this guy, because any faceless man can put up this face, and so we don't know if this is like the one that helped her back in Westeros. But they moved on. Great. Yes. You have just one screen grab of the whole.
I know, I'm terrible. I cannot believe that I missed all of the screen grabs of what happened.
There. Yes. Theon Greyjoy will leave Sansa. He's probably going back to his home, the Iron Islands, and he seeks redemption. So, okay, that's good.
You see, something. I think that maybe my phone didn't Bluetooth all the photos across, because I think I maybe had taken more photos than this, and that they didn't all transfer to the computer. So what I might do in the future is, you see, I'm worried that if I take VLC snaps, the video might get taken down. But you said you've seen other videos with snaps in.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't think you will get into trouble because of this.
Yeah. I'll do VLC snaps, because with VLC snaps, all I've got to do is click a button, and it takes a snap instantly. So I'll do that, because then now I can take more images. I can take like 200 easy.
But let's recap what happened here. So,
okay,
Sansa wants to move up north to Jon Snow. She doesn't know that he's dead yet, because that was a very recent event, and at that point he's still dead. What else happens here? I think, yeah, Theon is leaving, and that was about it. I can't remember much more from the scene.
Yeah, I'm sure I took.
Oh yes,
I will do VLCs now.
Brienne was talking about Arya. Brienne told Sansa that she saw Arya and that she was with a man, and that she wasn't willing to leave this man, and she was talking about the Hound. Brianna.
Yeah, what she should have said the name.
Yeah,
the Hound.
Strange.
The Hound. She should have said the Hound, because she knows that the Hound.
Yeah, and Sansa knows the Hound.
Raped.
Sansa knows the Hound very well, so it was strange that she was just said, "Nah, man, whatever."
Yeah.
And she defeated the Hound, Brianna, the badass knight woman.
Maybe she didn't want to reveal that she killed the Hound.
Maybe she knows didn't want to reveal that her sister was with the Hound, because that would worry Sansa, because the Hound is not a very nice person.
Well, he saved her from being raped, the Hound.
Yes, but otherwise, I mean, he was, in her eye, probably just as bad as the rest of them.
But unfortunately, I've not got grabs of now. The story really moves forward with the Boltons. So it starts with Reese Bolton. No, I don't.
You don't have any grabs of the Bolton scenes.
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Oh my god. That was like the biggest event in this episode.
Wojtek.
When did it happen? I don't remember. Was it before the scene or after the scene?
It's after this scene, I believe, and I want to explain what happened.
Okay.
You have at the start of the scene, Reese Bolton, played by the good actor, plays to Ramsay Bolton. He says that basically he says he's a mad dog, and then you know, you're not a proper, you know, he thinks he's a mad dog. He thinks he's irresponsible. Then the maester comes in and says, Lady Walder has given birth to a boy. And then Ramsay, you can see the expression on Ramsay's face where he's thinking, shit, I'm out the loop here. I'm not going to inherit this. So what he does is, right now, Reese experiences McKee's gap. He says to Ramsay, he takes an action expecting a certain thing. He says, you will always be my firstborn. So when he says that to Ramsay, he is expecting to see some appreciation from Ramsay. The gap opens when Ramsay stabs him to death. That is what is known as a gap between expectation and result. And that is the substance of story, McKee's gap, which is the gap.
And I still can't believe how much Bruce Bolton miscalculated with Ramsey. I mean, come on.
I know, he was so honest.
Why did
telling
he
him everything?
help him with this whole I'm having another heir thing? He knows what Ramsey is like, and okay, he got what he basically deserved. I mean, we
no
don't care
bodyguards
about
in the
Bruce
room.
Bolton, so anyways, I mean, but still, I was surprised by how fast they would move with this.
Oh yeah.
I was expecting Bruce would totally see through everything that Ramsey is doing and
that's right.
have the upper hand, but obviously not. And then we have like one of the most brutal scenes in Game of Thrones after the Red Wedding.
Oh yes. Let me say something first about now. I was thinking at the time, okay, why is everyone going to go along with Ramsay being the new Lord?
Exactly.
And what they did, the way they did it though, is they had Lord Karstark's heir there, like the young man. And so you could see that Ramsay had got the backing of the new Lord Karstark, and the new Lord Karstark, and as you know in the feudal system, it's like you have the barons have the army, the actual lords don't have a standing army, and it's the barons that supply the troops. And so Ramsay will have the troops from Lord Karstark.
Yeah, I mean, the heir of the Karstarks.
Yeah. Oh yes.
It's time for new blood in the north.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. I was just remembered at the start of the scene. Ramsay actually says, with the help of the Karstarks, we have most of the troops, and most of the people, and the other ones will come in line. And so he mentions that. So that's like a bit of exposition early in the scene. So we know, oh, he's with Karstark. Now we know he's got enough troops where everyone's going to accept him as the new Lord, rather than say, you bastard, you killed Rhys, I'm going to kill you. So he was thinking ahead.
Yes, but
Ramsay was thinking ahead.
I think it's still improbable. I didn't like this. Like, it's not that easy. You kill your father and then you inherit his kingdom. I mean, I think a lot of people might have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Like, kings, killers don't get away that easily. I mean, of course, he will portray it as he was poisoned, but nobody will believe that, and especially when he kills what's her name, Waldo,
with the dogs
after that, and baby. So
like I said, I put here that it was a good choice by the makers of the series not to actually show the woman and the baby being killed.
Yes, we should. We see a shot of Ramsay's face at this moment, and this is just as bad, maybe, as the killing itself. And then when it dragged out on and on, we see a scene where he holds baby. Oh, hey Waldo, can I hold my baby brother? And in this moment, you think like, don't give him the baby. And I was expecting that he would like, whoops, drop it or something like this, but no, okay, he gives it back.
So, because I've shown Wojtek some of Robert McKee's stuff before, so do you now accept that The Gap is a good substantive story?
It depends on how it is. I don't really care about this. The logics of the situation don't play out very well. Like it's, and I think like I'm worried. It was the same thing happened in the last episode, where the Sand Snakes kill the Dawn King and slaughter his bodyguard, and then suddenly they are the kings or the queen, whatever. And I think this is sloppy because it is improbable and not very well thought out. And normally Game of Thrones doesn't do stuff like this.
Yeah.
And I'm very worried that now that the show is getting advanced before the books. I didn't read the books, but I know that now the show is at a point where storylines have surpassed the storylines in the books, that they will be more traditional TV story-like.
Right. I'm waving my hands, folks. So I want to say, I will give the writers a little bit of a defense. Is that with the Sand Snakes, they did build it up by saying that the people didn't like the king, like saying they did all that thing about you're not a real man because your people hate the fact that you never defended your sister who was raped. So it gives the impression that they do have the support of, but as you say, they have this thing called regicide, which in our history, where it's really bad to kill a king. And although and also that they set the thing up with early on in the scene with the Boltons, Ramsay has the support of the new Karstark Lord and his army.
Yeah, there are more parties involved, and the old Lord Bolton, Roose Bolton, probably had friends and loyal.
Well, maybe that will come to fruition down the line, and we'll see things like Ramsay the Bastard will probably, with the Karstarks, maybe eliminate a few other people to like complete the coup.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that Ramsay is not a very likable character, not only from the viewer's perspective, but like in his surroundings. Like Roose Bolton was saying, he was giving him advice in this moment.
Yeah.
If you behave like a mad dog, you will be seen as a mad dog. And I don't think that a character like Ramsay would get much support in an environment like this.
No, in the real world they wouldn't, because people wouldn't support someone who is so mad. It usually, in fact, that happened with the Krays. There is a certain extent where people sorry, there's a little bit of right. What we got here? We've got Iron Islands. Now I'll go back to this. And right, here we go.
So another, like, this episode and the episode before was a line of coups. Old rules get killed and new ones take the place. We have the same thing in Dawn, we have the same thing with the Boltons, and now with the Ironborns. With the Greyjoys. So suddenly this new character shows up. He's well known in the books. It's one brother of the old Greyjoy king. So he shows up. He's he's pretty mad, like he says he's a god and he's the storm and whatnot. And then he kills the old Ironborn.
Yeah. No. When I saw this, at this point, I thought, is Gemma Whelan pregnant? But then later on, she's a lot thinner. It's just maybe just a weird thing that happened. And then this is the Iron Islands.
I love the castle,
this is,
by the way. I love the design of this castle. It's great. It's magnificent. On this tops of this.
Right.
These rocks. And then
next time I'll take VLC snaps.
There is this hanging bridge between them, and they have to go over this bridge, and it's a great architecture. I love it.
And then we go.
Yeah.
That's when he gets. Now, I would say it's self-defense.
Yes, he draw a sort of dagger or whatever first. So, yeah, but he would have killed him anyway, I think. That was the point why he was there. So,
yeah.
So
that's Gemma Wheeler.
What's her name? Isara?
Yara Greyjoy.
What?
I think she's called Yara Greyjoy.
Yara Greyjoy, yes. So she wanted to inherit her father's place, but there will be a Viking election going on, so probably Theon Greyjoy will go into this mess and help his sister, I guess. We'll see. I mean, the Ironborn are not that interesting to us as a viewer. In the books, they play a much larger role, I guess. But like, from the show's perspective, yeah, there are some pirates up at the border of the events, and they don't play much of a role, so I do care, but we'll see.
Right now, and one of these will be the thumbnail.
Okay.
With the red woman in.
Your favorite waited for. Finally, Davos tells the red woman, "Hey, why don't you resurrect Jon? I see you do a lot of magic stuff. I heard about stuff that red priests are doing. So, yeah, he's dead, but does he have to be dead?" They were very straightforward about it. They didn't build it up like Davos was going to her, "Hey, resurrect him." And,
I think I might use this one as the thumbnail.
We saw at the show that this is a power that some red priests do have. There was this band of brothers in one of the seasons where one guy was resurrected like several times.
Yes, what it was is there was a trial by combat for the Hound, and he beat the guy, and then we saw the guy come back to life. And I think they actually said that you can. I think he said every time you come back is a little bit less of a man, and I think he said something like, "You can only come back if you've not had your head chopped off. If you had your head chopped off, then you can't come back."
Okay, I don't remember that, but yeah, I mean, there has to be a price when you story-wise when you make up very powerful magic. Then there has to be a price for it. Otherwise, you can use it anytime. And
that's exactly.
Is there like a price here, really? Like in the brothers, I mean, he talks about I'm lesser every time, but he was resurrected 7 times, and he seems alright. Like we don't see him be strange or something. He looks he's normal. And go back. Let's not go ahead because it's I mean, every fan expected this. I mean, the actors lied about this. The producers lied.
Especially when they knew the actor. Especially when they knew the actor was in the series.
Yes, like no, Jon Snow is not coming back. He's dead, and stuff like this. I heard that the actor actually apologized for lying after the series went on screen, and whatever. They had to keep up the suspension, and they did it quite well. Like the whole ceremony was failing, and at this moment I thought, "Oh, I was expecting and reading all the stuff that he will come back, and everything points towards it. But maybe this is one of these twists in Game of Thrones? No, he's dead. And then, I mean, I was expecting that they will do this. This
yeah. Some points I want to make about that. Now, I think that the price that will be paid is that Jon Snow can only come back for a short while.
I don't think so. I think the price will be something else. But let's just clarify this. Every magic that the Red Woman does has a high price. Like you need King's Blood to do this magic. And just for small stuff like helping out Dennis to went through the snow, he had to kill his own daughter. He had to burn his own daughter on a stake. I mean, that was quite a price. And then they built up. And now it's just like, you put the hands on him and say some stuff. You say the words like the other Red Priest was doing basically the same. I mean, he didn't have to sacrifice anyone or anything. He just says the words and then the person resurrects. So what's the price here?
Maybe he becomes a White Walker.
I think that the White Walker is a thing of the other god, not the Red God, not the god of the Red Priest. There's this duality thing going on between the Red God, the god of fire and light, and the god of darkness and ice, which the others probably are. I think Melisandre says the others, the White Walkers, are his children of the great other one. But so what will be the price? I think we will see a very different Jon Snow than we are used to. I think
that would be significant. That would be enough.
Yes, like his personality will change significantly. And why I think that is, Ramsay Bolton is built up as this total unlikable character. And we are reminded of how wicked he is in this episode when he kills Waller and his baby, and her baby. And I think they are building up this Ramsay character as the super, super, super evil one to contrast it of Jon Snow, who will fight him, because that will be what will happen next. I think Jon Snow, with the help of the Wildlings and maybe some other Northerners, will fight Ramsay. Will be not like the hero character that he used to be. He might be like, he might be very different. Like he will be more evil, and that's why they put him up against an even more evil guy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we can still somewhat sympathize with Jon Snow. I think that's what they are going for.
Maybe, hopefully, because as you say, there always has to be a price for using magic. Otherwise, it just becomes this get-out clause. So the episode got an extra point from me for having no Daenerys Targaryen in, and I wonder if the actress is pregnant. Because she had chubby arms in episode 1. So what I've written here, last week was character based, so episode 1 was character based. This week was gap based, so we have Roose Bolton dead, Lady Walder and son dead, Balon Greyjoy dead, Jon Snow awakens. So 4 gaps.
Yes.
Although the Lady Walder and son being dead was anticipated as a result of the first one, so really 3 big surprises rather than 4.
Yeah. And let's see what the next episode will be about. I hope that they don't cut off the Jon Snow story arc now, and for the next several episodes they won't revisit it. I very much hope they don't do this, because I would be mad with the series. Like when they now say, okay, now we go to the other ones, and
if they do him as different, that would be great, because you'll have loads of drama, and that would be good, because you get loads of drama if he's slightly different and a little bit hard-edged, and it's like, oh, what have we resurrected here? That would be fantastic. Oh, and some information about him. Harrington is linked to the aristocracy, and he's actually linked to a Harrington in the United States, one of the I think one of the people on the Mayflower, I think.
Okay.
Kit Harrington. Right. I think. Oh yes. It was when we did this before, we went completely wrong. It went, my voice went all funny because of technology, because the internet went out. I think you said in that one that you liked the first episode more than the second episode. Yeah. So if you could say that bit again about comparing the two.
Oh, no, I think I did it in the beginning. Let's cut here.
Okay, here we go, folks. And it's bye from me.
And bye.